And so now we know that the reason why the conquest of Constantinople takes place after the malhama is so that when we conquer Constantinople, we can then return this cathedral to the Orthodox Christian world. And the dagger which has been planted into their hearts will be withdrawn, and the blood will stop flowing, and the alliance with Rome will then be cemented. But there are those who say, how can you have an alliance with the people? How can you call them Christian when they worship Jesus as God and they declare that He is the Son of God? And this is shirk. And the Quran declares that Allah is prepared to forgive all sins, but not shirk. What answer do we have to give? The answer is, do not take any verse of the Quran in isolation, because you could be ending up misguided. You will end up declaring that Iblis was an angel, which is what they believe, and that he committed this big sin and then he became a fallen angel. That's what they believe. But we don't believe that angels fall down. So be careful. Do not take any verse of the Quran in isolation. Otherwise, you could make the mistake of ending up believing that Iblis was an angel. Proper methodology is to go to all the verses of the Quran, not to one. Here is one verse which says that Allah will not forgive shirk. But look at the other one now. Surah Al-Ma'idah. And Allah speaks to Nabi Isa alayhi salam and asks him, did you say to the people to worship me and my mother as gods beside Allah? Did you do that? And he said, no, I never did that. I never taught them anything other than what you taught me. Well, then he ends by saying, if you punish them for this belief that I am God and the Son of God, if you punish them, then they are your servants and you have the right to punish them. But if you forgive them, you doubt me that this is in the Quran? Do you doubt that? That? Yes, this is in the Quran. Go check it out. But if you forgive them, then you are the forgiving, the merciful, including, therefore, the possibility that the entire Christian world, which worships Jesus as God and as the Son of God, can be forgiven by Allah if He chooses to. So it's not for us to pass judgment. It's for Allah to pass judgment. And so don't say, well, how can we call them Ahlul Kitab when they're eating pork? How can we call them Ahlul Kitab when they say that a man can marry another man and get a marriage certificate? How can we call them Ahlul Kitab when they're lending money on interest? How can we do this? How can we do this? How can we? And then endless objections. The answer is, if a man says, when the angel questions him, which is your prophet? And he says, Muhammad, alayhi salatu wasalam. And the man is drinking alcohol, as many Muslims are drinking today. He may be eating bacon and eggs for breakfast and drinking wine for lunch. It's not for you to say he's not a Muslim. Only Allah can say that. Allah has said in the Quran, وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُ مِنْكُمْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. Whosoever from amongst you turn to them, meaning the alliance of Jews and Christians, which is today the Zionist alliance. If you turn to them with friendship and alliance, فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ, you no longer belong to us, you belong to them. Only Allah is authorized to say that this man is no longer a Muslim. If we come to that fatwa, it has to be based on the Quran. So you cannot say they are not Ahlul Kitab anymore, unless Allah says so. So be careful when you speak like this. So it is possible that Allah can forgive them. But we know that once Nabi Isa alayhi salam comes back, then something is going to happen to the entire world of Christians and Jews who are Ahlul Kitab. What does the Quran say? It says in Surah An-Nisa, وَإِن مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا لَيُؤْمِنَنَّ بِهِ قَبْلَ مَوْتِهِ وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يَكُونُ عَلَيْهِمْ شَهِيدًا. That when Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns, then every single wrong belief that they had, every single thing that they rejected that was the truth, they will have to accept it. But for some of them, it will be too late. وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يَكُونُ عَلَيْهِمْ شَهِيدًا. The door for mercy and for tawbah is now closed for you. But for others, they now recognize Nabi Muhammad as a prophet, yes. And they now recognize the Quran as the word of Allah, yes. They do not enter into the Ummah because that's obligatory, because they have their Nabi, and they have their Sharia, and they have their Qibla, and their Qibla is still valid. That's what the Quran says. The Quran says their Qibla is still valid. The Quran says their Qibla is still valid for them. Go and check it out. Go and check it out. So where this nonsense has come from? That everybody will have to join the Ummah of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, including Nabi Isa alayhi salam. I'm sorry for you on Judgment Day. I'm sorry for you on Judgment Day if you open your mouth to utter such nonsense, because Allah never sent him to this Ummah. If you don't study the Quran, then you speak nonsense. Allah sent him to Banu Israel, not to this Ummah. And you want him to take Shahada and become a member of this Ummah. I mean, this is a PhD in stupidity. And so now we can end to cement the alliance with just one more verse of the Quran. And I love this one. It shows the extremely close bond of love between that Nabi and this Nabi, in consequence of which the alliance between this Ummah and this Ummah is inevitable. Shall we continue?